The following program is a UWTV classic.
From the University of Washington in Seattle, Upon Reflection.
Hello and welcome to Upon Reflection. I'm Marcia Alvar. Ly Hayslip was only 12 when U.S. helicopters landed in her village near Da Nang. She grew up at the center of the Vietnam War. Hayslip described those harrowing years in When Heaven and Earth Changed Places. The second chapter of her life, Child of War, Woman of Peace, begins in 1970 when Hayslip starts a new life in the United States. A film based on both books will complete Oliver Stone's cinematic trilogy about the war in Vietnam. And welcome to Upon Reflection.
Thank you.
Why did Oliver Stone choose your story for his film?
Well, it's a good story. It's a great story to make. Besides that, he never worked with a woman's story before. And this is the very first time give him a chance to learn more about the feminist side.
You said it was only fair that the third film in this trilogy come from a different perspective in this war.
It's very fair, yes. Because the first film he made is about the men fight in the war.
It's Platoon.
Yes, and the second movie on Born 4th of July that the men come back from the war. And then this film is about another side of the war, who they fought and with and who that they killing and all that. I think it's very good for him to do on the three sides.
When you left Vietnam in 1970 to come to the United States, is there any way to describe how your life changed, how different it was to leave a country still at war and to come to the United States?
As much as different, like when I left my village, go to Saigon in 1966 as a refugee. In the village, we didn't have any running water, electricity. Everywhere we go, we just walk. In the city, car and bus and military equipment everywhere. And to me, it is a culture shock in our own country. And I worked with, U.S. Military men, and they get very angry about the war, and they say, someday I'm going to go home and I have better table and I have better bed and I have better food and all of that. And I couldn't understand how they can asking for better when they had everything. It's much better than what Vietnamese we, have. And they say, we go in United States, they say, you put 10 cents in, you take out a newspaper, you put 10 cents in, the coke coming down, and all the things that they try to describe to me. No bicycle, own car. And I cannot think, how can the country with no bicycle?
In the beginning of the book, you give us several examples of how different your life is. And I wondered if you would share the story of what it was like for you, newly arrived in Southern California, to go to your first American supermarket.
Well, in Vietnam, you go to the supermarket, and everything fresh. You have fresh fish, jump up and down, chicken yelling at you, duck yelling at you, and everything is fresh from the garden to take it there. Root, head, toes, everything together in one piece. In the United States, everything is frozen ice. From meat to vegetable to noodle to TV dinner, everything is frozen. And I never can understand how can countries so cold and eat only cold food,
You described the supermarket, you looked at the produce section and you said it was like a hotel for food.
Yeah, it's just everything is so nice and clean and put everything in order. It's not a market for us. A market is a lot of noise, people screaming, yelling at each other because you're bargaining down to the point where, you can't bargain anymore and you fight. And that is what you call marketplace. In our store over here, it's not a market, it's a hotel more like.
Now, you had developed a certain set of skills in Vietnam to survive. You lived from the age of 12 to the age of 20 in the middle of a war for women, in a war where all the sides at one point or another want to take advantage of you. It's very difficult. So you leave that country with that set of skills and you come to this country. Were any of them at all useful when you came to a place that was not at war?
Yeah, it's useful as a housekeeper. I did a lot of cleaning house for many years after my first husband passed away, and babysitter because I'm good with children, and that are two things that keep me survive on this country. Mm. But what in Vietnam, like black market or try to support yourself by doing things in general, it's not working in this country.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, when you came to this country, what were people's reactions to you? You came in 1970, May 1970, which was probably the height of the anti-war movement in this country, but you moved to a very conservative part of the United States in San Diego.
Well, I don't know where it is in San Diego when I first came over here. My husband, who is 35 years older than me, he about over 5 feet 8 inches tall, and he weighed about 160 to 70 pounds. Here I am 4 feet 10 inches, about 90 pounds, with 2 little kids. His family, even his nephew, older than him. His brothers and sisters, everybody much older than I am. I mean, his nephew older than I am, and everybody look at me as just like a little high school kid, you know, even though I had 2 children and a mother and housewife. But because I'm so small and I'm so stupid at that time, people didn't take me seriously, didn't treat me like in-law family. Now I look back, at that time my hair very long. Most of the time I wear black pajama in the house, take care of the kid just like a monkey with the mother on way to get there. And with it over here, you need to put the baby in a crib so baby can sleep instead of sleep in your arm, and put the baby in a playpen so they can play, they can be independent and not hold them all the time. To us, it's not way. It's not a way at all. At night, the mother and children sleep together rather than put them in different bedrooms so you can be with your husband. All that is very strange to us, to me.
Another big cultural difference
Another
for you.
big culture difference. Yes.
One of the scenes I remember from this book is you're with your husband Ed's family in their home, the mother and the sister and all the others. And they're watching television, and on the television is news about the war in Vietnam. And here you are in the middle of this room. And what was it like for you to sit there and watch your own country and see that story from the perspective of your new home?
That is a shocking view, because in Vietnam, you hear the bomb going on and gunfire and everything around you, and you know the war going on, and you try to survive the best that you can. But in the United States, there was no war, no gunfire, no bomb dropping. But Vietnam is always on the front of the TV in family room every day, talking about this war. For the first time in my life that I stand outside and look it in, the bomb dropping on the people, villages being destroyed, people being killed by American. Here I am in their land. I'm their wife, I'm their daughter, and all of those things. I have to question myself, what side are they talking about? Of course not Vietnamese side at all. What is it's very difficult for me to sit there, and every time you say a reporter, a journalist at the GI, that you think that operation today is successful, and it always answer, oh yes, it's very successful. We kill a lot of good. We destroy many VC home. We destroy the village and hope that they not come back again. And you know, we think they're successful. Yet the village is burning behind him, and the people die in front of him, and he never did ask the villager to see that they think that is successful or not. I was there. I was born there. I just get out from there. I know that is not the way it was.
When I first got a notice about this book, the second book of yours, it had a different title. The title on it then was At Home in the Land of the Enemy, and now it's called Child of War, Woman of Peace.
Yes.
Why was that change made?
I don't like to call the word of enemy. We're not enemy with anyone. I don't consider the United States as our enemy. The war, yeah, they have to call the enemy so that they can make more war. But now I've been here for 20 years, and therefore I add double day to change it. Because of course the title is Sell the Book, and I want the book to sell, but enemy, I can't swallow it. So that's why we change.
How different would your experience have been if instead of a young girl from a very small village in Vietnam with really no money, but luckily with some protector in Ed, your husband, but if you'd come over as a member of the wealthy class in Vietnam, one of the people who had been merchants during the war, powerful people, was their experience much different than yours once they got here?
Oh yes, yes. See, to them, because in Vietnam, that kind of people, they have 2-3 servants, have a car, never drive, never cook, never shopping, and they come over here, everything they have to do for themselves. That is a very, very hard for them to adjust. As well, for me, just like I say, I don't mind to go do house cleaning because that I know the best. I don't mind to, stay up all night and take care of the children and have no maid. That's okay. So yeah, our life is much, much different. I can survive. I think it's much easier because there was no welfare. U.S. government didn't help us out when I come, even though my husband did not find a job for a long, long time. But the refugee who coming over very wealthy still can be on welfare, and U.S. government helping them with their houses and counseling and everything. So they're much more luckier than the girl like married to American.
Now, you are really kind of the classic American immigrant success story in many ways. You're this very poor woman who comes to the country and yet somehow manages to scrape and work, and actually within not that many years from your arrival you became a millionaire. At least on paper.
In Vietnam, I don't know anything about this stocks, buy stock, exchange, the bank, all that. But one thing we're confident with is the land. And we measure of inches the land just like the inches of gold. That's how valuable it is, because we only have so much land and so many people can live on the land. So if you invest in real estate, you can do very good. Well, at that time, President Jimmy Carter have helped out a lot with that time. And so I made a good move and I made a right move. And then, for house that you're talking about, over here you're talking about millionaire, that means you owe everybody money. You have a very little for yourself, you still can call you millionaire. Where in Vietnam, you're talking about millionaire, you have money stacked up underneath your bed, And so it's a different millionaire, but yet I can say that I did some very good with the investment in real estate. Yes.
You studied business for a while, and you mentioned how the teacher told you that business is a dog-eat-dog kind of thing, and you really disagreed with that.
Over here you have to receive everything, so you get reimbursed. To me, it's when you spend money on yourself, you don't need reimbursement from anybody. You do the business, make sure that you give all the honest paperwork. To his, he called honest. To me, it's too greedy. To us, it's the money there for you, so you can survive, you can live, and you can make your need met. To businessmen, however, that is a rip-off, like make sure that I get everything back. And it's a lot of corruption out there. And I just did agree with many things that he taught me, but maybe that's why I'll be different. I don't know.
You seem to take a more long-term view of business, I think, than your teacher did, and you always liked the idea that if you maybe put a little more into making the customer happy, that eventually that was going to pay off, and that certainly was true of the restaurant business that you got into.
Yeah, that is the thing. In Asia, we do business totally different from here. If you come into store and you buy something, you want it at price $50. You only have 45. We say, please take it and come back, pay us next time. And you're so happy, you just take it. Or you say, okay, I only have 45 and I want this. I just take it and come back next time. In the United States, it doesn't work. He called it the paperwork have to be straight. And the paperwork to be straight, it's very hard for Asians to do because we never keep it straight because we always going around and do.
Everyone's confused by the paperwork.
Yes. Do the thing
Absolutely.
that, people to people, relationship, not the money or the number and the paperwork relationship.
Now, you made a lot of money, but there was something that was still missing for you. And a lot of this book has to do with the journey that was as much of the spirit as anything else, trying to find out where you belonged, really what your calling in life was. Can you talk a little bit about that journey, about that search?
Yes. I own 3 nice, beautiful homes then and a restaurant and 3 good-looking boys and healthy. But it's just something in me, I feel so empty. I be with the custom in my restaurant, 100, 200 custom a day. But end of the day, I get in a car and I ride home all by myself. And when I got home, nothing but bill that I have to pay. And so be a single mother, I have to get $5,000 to $7,000 come in a month just to make sure all my bill pay. And my insurance pay, my mortgage been paid, and my car been paid. And up, I don't have anything for myself. I need new pair of shoes. I can't get it because there's no money there. And I always looking for at that point, I want to be way out. I call easy way out, give up everything and just be something simple, easy. And I look back how my father, my mother lived their life and all of my people who's still there now, how they live their life. And that is why I want to go back to Vietnam in 1986 to visit my family as well as to find out how can I live that simple life like they did and be happy.
And what did you learn on that first
I
trip
learned
back?
that it doesn't matter what you have. You only can eat 3 meals a day. It doesn't matter how much clothes you have. You can wear only 1 piece of clothes a day. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It's only 7 days a week and 24 hours a day. If you can do all of that for others, make others happy, then you happy yourself. Instead of you do all of that for yourself, and other people didn't really get something out of it, and you become very unhappy. And I went back to Vietnam and I saw the poorness, the poor people. I gave him 5 cents for bowl and noodle, and they're very happy. They appreciate it. Where in the United States, I can give my kid for a birthday, a car or a TV. Thank you, Mom. Give me a big hug, and that's what it is. It's no appreciation in here. So I thought to myself, if that made me happy, it's worth it. And I'm looking for the happiness, still not material related. So I give up everything and give it to the poor, and that just makes me happy. And I get younger and younger every day. I still work 7 days a week. I still eat 3 times a day. I still, working 24 hours a day, and I'm happy.
It came that the really sort of the calling of your life was to share your story, to write the books that you have, and to start the foundation, which serves as a kind of bridge between this country and Vietnam, called East Meets West Foundation. But there were many obstacles and many difficulties along the way. Some took place in this country, some in Vietnam. The U.S. government, for example, was very suspicious of your great interest in going back to Vietnam.
Well, that is you call human nature. As long as you be a stupid farmer plant rice, people can take advantage of you and to do what they please. But when you start to stand up and say, I want to do my way, nobody allow you to do it. In the United States, I'm U.S. citizen, and I'm very grateful for give me a freedom of the speech. And I'm learned from that is it's the unlimited one, unlimited need. And if you can't do anything, it's not anybody else's fault but you. And so if when FBI come to tell me that you can't do that or you can't go back to Vietnam, and I say, well, nobody, no law to tell me I can't, except United States and Vietnam, it's no relationship. And because of no relationship in a government, it doesn't mean that I have to be, in the rule that they tell me. And so when they say, well, you can go, but we're not responsible for your life, I say, well, I have my own life, I can be responsible for that. And so I went to Vietnam. In Vietnam, they thought that I'm working for the U.S. government at the CIA, go back to Vietnam and spy on them. And when I come back here, the FBI thought I'm working for the government of Vietnam to be spy on.
It was just like during the war. Everybody thought from all the different sides that you were somehow involved with the other people.
Yes, but that is what made me change, and that is what made me be who I am today, because everybody want me to be what they want me to become. I just want to be me, I just want to be me, how I feel. I like to show people what I can do. I want to help the poor. I did not do anything that broke the law. I did not do anything that hurt other people. So why not? And so because of everybody stopping me, what I'm trying to do, I do more and more, and I succeed for it.
So the governments threw up various roadblocks. And some of the most wrenching things to read about in this book were the difficulties that your travel back and forth caused members of your own family in Vietnam.
Yes.
Why would the visit from you put your sister, your mother, in such jeopardy?
Well, at that time, way back in 1986, as you read the first book, you can see how scary it was, because U.S. citizens cannot travel to Vietnam. First of all, they never thought that U.S. government will allow me to travel out of United States to go to Vietnam. And how I get back to Vietnam, they don't know. My family still think I'm working for CIA. And so they know that if I connected with CIA over here, my whole family will be killed.
And there was also the belief on the part of their neighbors that you were secretly giving them money.
That's right.
So the neighbors wanted to know where the money was, why
Yes.
they weren't spending this money. And of course, you hadn't given them any.
Yes. See, every Viet Kiều come home or send money home for their family. And it's a lot of money to do a lot of businesses and everything. I did opposites. Instead of I give it to my family, I give it to the people who need it more than my family. My mother, 85 years old, how much can she eat? What can she wear? All my brother, my sister, they have 2 arms, they have 2 legs, they can survive. I give them little now and then just to make them happy. But in my heart, I don't feel that it's a charity. If for you to do the charitable, you have to give to who need the most.
It's also worth mentioning that the government of Vietnam, it was illegal for you to bring money in, and you had a very frightening experience coming into Vietnam one time, being searched in just about every possible way.
Yes, because at that time the Vietnamese government not allow you to bring US dollar in, but if you do, then you have to fill out a form, how many you bring in and how much you spend, and then you have to come out with all the receipts. In United States, they not allow you to bring the money in Vietnam as well, and by that time I already broke, I don't have much money to bring it back. And the government would not believe, Vietnamese government would not believe that I go in there with $1,000. It's a lie. And so they want to make sure that they find all the money that they're looking for, which it turned out with no money there for them. And from then on, they just have a big question mark. Why did I go in there with little money? I must be a CIA. And they give me a hard time. But now, U.S. government at the custom, they do the same thing, because you're not allowed to bring things back from Vietnam.
Towards the end of the book, there's the culmination of a dream that you had for a long time, the dedication of a clinic in your home village in Vietnam, a clinic that Oliver Stone's donation actually finally made possible. Have you done everything that you want to do?
No, not at all. It's just like a little, drop in a bucket, but there are nearly 7 million people. All of those need help. And I did as much as I can. Let me update to you up to now. We have an orphanage going on right now for 100 disabled children. And end of the year, I hope it raised to 200. We had a compassion school. That's also Oliver Stone helped to fund that. Right now we have 100 children. We want to make it 300 end of the years. And we had an outreach program with a mobile clinic go out on around 12 districts around Da Nang City to help the people. We have post status. It helped limb, which is donated by the Prosthetic Research Foundation up here in Seattle. Then we had a called Relief Family Program, where if people die, you have to help them out to live for a while if we do that. But that is just not enough. I hope that with love and compassion that United States, now that look back the Vietnam War and say, let's help the people there rebuild the country and rebuild their family structure and give little now and then. And I can do much more because, we're very little, we're small, because we don't have much overhead over here and we build everything in Vietnam.
There's so much reconciliation in this book. I mean, there's some wonderful stories about the Vietnam veterans that you traveled with when you went back to Vietnam, and the kind of reconciliation and healing that some of them were able to feel in that country. And part of your own healing as a person came when you decided where home was.
Yes.
How did you decide that? And where is home for Ly Hayslip?
In my heart. But the reason why the veteran is not very healing for them is I know them better than anyone else. First of all, they have a very much attachment to Vietnamese, co-worker, maid, girlfriend, people that they contact with every day. It's very friendly to them, very good with them to work side by side with them then. And a lot of them fall in love with Vietnamese women. And because the tour of duty over, they came home, and that is still on sale, okay? And then when the war is ended the way it is in 1975 and cut off totally, no communication, no relationship after that, it's lots of pain for them. And so another thing is I didn't see that they understand Vietnamese people or the country at all besides the war. And so I just want them to go back and say, I want you to understand us more. I want you to come back and see the people and the country as the Vietnamese, not refugee, not boat people, not VC, not killing, not the war zone like you used to be.
People as people. And that's a big part of your book. It was a great joy to read it, and I enjoyed so much having you on the program. I'm sure there's so much more you're going to do. You'll be back and we'll learn what's happened since now. Child of war, woman of peace, Ly Hayslip. Thank you again so much.
Well, thank you.
To see more UWTV classics, visit uwtv.org/classics.